Hello, brothers and sisters. Raven here, and finally get to move ahead. Getting further through building Christian character, I can say I get to skip a bit here. A lot of what I've gone through is just more of pushing this idea of how crucial discipline of the children is and how this is what can bring their salvation and all that stuff. It's just so frustrating. But the nice thing is, it's just that same topic on and on and on that we've already talked about in Blair Adams trying to show off what he knows, where so many sections in this of like 2 or 3 pages, all he's doing is overcomplicating a statement that could have simply been said by simply stating disobedience happens when you don't do what you're asked. He could have simply said that in some of the sections and that would have summed it all up. He just babbles on about nothing. But then there's others where you see nothing but pure hypocrisy. Everything he's saying, don't touch this, don't go this way, don't deceive like this, don't hide this. That's what they do. And so it was kind of like, why go reading what's true when that's not what I want to get at? I want to get at showing what they really are doing, not just what they're saying. So, finally, on page 90, I've come to a statement I want to share with you for some, let's say, unique reasons. So this is a statement that he makes that seems kind of normal at first, as always, but you stop and you look, and there's a lot of major hypocrisy in this, and a disturbing side to this. So, let me go ahead and read it. Honor for those who bear God's redeeming love over us cannot help but build up their trust in us. One of the most certain and powerful ways to confirm the trust in us or of those over us is to confess our sin without external constraint or coercion. For a child to confess his sin in this way builds up parental confidence in the child's trustworthiness. The parents know the child is walking in a way to please not merely people but God. In short, that their child has a conscience. Okay. A few things I want to talk about in this. First one is just something to sort of point out what I think this is all about. You notice the first sentence. It doesn't mention parents. Doesn't specify the topic, it just says in general, honor for those who bear God's redeeming love. So this is just talking about leaders in general who serve God. In other words, he's also telling you how to treat him. So remember, this isn't just about parents. This is also them sometimes directly, sometimes indirectly, forcing the same kind of submission under them. That's what the leaders of Homestead do with this. That's what this is about. But going along with that, take a look at the end of it. The parents know the child is walking in a way to please not merely people but God. In short, that their child has a conscience. A few bad assumptions in this. How do they know this? I'll show why this doesn't show it in a second. But I don't really see anything here to tell me that when a child walks in this way, being talked about in this statement, I don't see how that shows they care about following God, not just people. Second, note, how do they follow God? Their child has a conscience. Everybody has a conscience. Sometimes a good one, sometimes a bad one. Just because you have a conscience doesn't mean it's correct. That's not what you follow to follow God. You've got to go by the rules He's set in place. Not you. Not your conscience. Not your parents. Not other authority figures. What He set in place. Now, let's get to what really set me off with this. In the center, the middle sentence of this, he says this. One of the most certain and powerful ways to confirm the trust in us or of those over us is to confess our sin without external constraint or coercion. That's what this is coercion. He is getting you, he is coercing you to confess your sins to him. This is very much like so many cults. This is the way it is with Jehovah's Witnesses. You've got to go and you've got to let it all out to them, to these leaders, to those in authority over you. Note what it says, to conform the trust in us or of those over us. That's what this is all about. Coercion. The hypocrisy of this is disturbing. This whole thing, he's trying to give you this idea of you need to follow them, you need to do what they want, you need to tell them everything because they're given authority by God. It shouldn't be all about sharing with them. It shouldn't be all about pleasing them. It shouldn't be all about following their rules. It should be about following God's. Not about following your conscience or somebody else's, but his commands. What he asks of you. This book is all about getting authority figures in your life to be treated the same as God. Final point I want to make. Keeping that in mind, keeping all of what he's doing in this in mind. The hypocrisy of it, the way he's trying to get you to confess things to them, get you to follow a conscience they're setting in place. Watch this. Look at these two parts. Walking in a way to please not merely people, but God. Then, honor for those who bear God's redeeming love over us cannot help but build up their trust in us. They're saying to walk in a way to please God. But when it comes to who to honor, who to trust, it's them and us, not God. What they're seeking out here is right there. It's for you to treat it as though following them, honoring them, is how you follow God. And two, they want to be able to fully trust that you're going to follow them and you're going to listen to everything they tell you and what they say. That you won't doubt them. So that they don't have to doubt you. It's why in the documents when you join, they want signatures. They want this to be as certain and confident as possible that you are going to follow their ways, their teaching, what they tell you to do. No, you may want to please God. What you have to do is obey them. And yet they claim without external constraint or coercion. Nothing but lies. Within this statement, he is brainwashing people and brainwashing them in a way that can confirm they will brainwash their children. This is not Christian character, and they are not building it. This is Homestead's character, and they are forcing it. God bless.